both these guys are in their second year, and so had enormous success last year. Went 7-3, 5-2 in the Ivy League, first time ever for Columbia. And I think they're searching. They're trying to find their place this year. But I promise you this. I've watched enough of these games. Nobody is going to quit today. These guys are going to be playing it to the very end. And Empire State Bowl or not, which I think is fantastic. This is the bowl. These two teams really kind of act like they don't like each other.
Yeah, a lot on the line. 15th battle for the Empire State Bowl, a rivalry, and earned the nickname back in 2010. But these two teams have been going at it since 1889. We'll get to that as we go along this afternoon. But two teams that are trying to finish their years with wins and trophies. For Columbia, trying to get on the board in Ivy play, and for Cornell, trying to continue that momentum of a strong finish to Ivy play. Here are teams that I feel like at times have been in similar spots, both sides trying to cut out some of the mistakes that have cost them throughout the year, continuing to learn and establish the culture and the process, something that John Poppy said has been a bit of a learning experience for them in year two. Felt like they were senior-laden in year one, was a bit easier to establish how they wanted to do things. That has become a little bit more challenging. He feels like, you got to remind yourself that these guys are young. You got to coach everything. You got to make sure that you are on top of every aspect of what you are trying to accomplish. Cornell won the toss and will defer to the second half. So Will Buck will kick it away.
For Columbia,
Elliot Cooper and Griffin Johnson to return it. And we are off and running. 15th Empire State Bowl begins with a touchback. And out comes the Columbia offense.
Nick, to your point about these young head coaches, whenever a new coach comes in, there's going to be a period of transition. And, whether he inherits a great team or inherits a team that's kind of trying to find their stride, there's always transition. There's players figuring things out for the first time. So we're seeing a lot of that on both sides of the ball here today.
Chase Goodwin and the Lions offense to work. Been a struggle at times this year. 14 points per game, fourth to last among 123 FCS programs, but did find some answers last Saturday against Brown. A season-high 29 points, 4 second-half touchdown drives to see if they can continue that momentum. We'll begin the day with a bobbled snap and a loss. That was not how they drew it up.
They had a couple of those last week. Coach talked about it in his post-game show. And, again, this is 4-hour bus ride. This is all of those things. It's just, calming down, getting their feet under them. Just calm down and do what they need to do.
So early mistake, loss of 8. This is a Columbia offense that wants to be physical and run the football. Michael Walters, they'll have to go to the air on second down. And Goodwin finds Beckett Robinson out near the sideline. Guy who had a breakout game against Brown on Saturday. 6 catches for 97 yards and his second career touchdown, picks up 5. It's 3rd and 13.
Strong receiving core for these Columbia Lions. And we'll probably see some of that right now.
Titus Evans, really strong Saturday against Brown, goes in motion. Goodwin, well protected for the moment, taking a shot and has a wide open receiver. Elliot Cooper, the freshman, hauls it in. And how about a 3rd and 13 conversion for the Columbia offense into Cornell territory?
These long passes have been the Achilles heel of this Cornell defense. They run the 3 men up front. They kind of have 8 backs, and we're gonna get to you as soon as we do, and then we're gonna cover you like crazy. But sometimes they blitz that time, so you end up in man coverage.
Has been a revolving door at receiver for Columbia. First touch for Michael Walters with a hop step and a fall forward. Freshman reigning Ivy Rookie of the Week. First 100-yard game against Brown of his career in less than 3 quarters. Ran for 123 and a touchdown. Broke Columbia's rookie rushing record, closing in on 500 yards for the season. That's 5th among freshmen in rushing in the FCS.
Walter's big, strong running back.
After a gain of 4, go back to Walters. That time, not a ton of room against a Cornell defense that has been stout against the run for most of this season, consistently giving Cornell opportunities to win. Did give up a couple of chunk runs against Dartmouth last Saturday.
They've done that a couple of weeks. Against Penn, they gave up a long run, and then they had a lot of yards against them last week. So I'm sure that Columbia has looked at that, but this is the first time for the defense to step up and stop them here.
On 3rd and 4, Goodwin pulls it out. Pressure in his face, just throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Tommy McPherson cashes in on the takeaway. And a bad decision by Goodwin with pressure coming. And Cornell's defense makes an early play.
You see Johnny Williamson coming off the corner, coming off the edge, and that's one of the things that Cornell does well. They bring those edge guys hard. And again, this is a pattern that we've seen before, Nick. We've seen a long pass, maybe deep in the offense's territory, and then Cornell toughens up the closer you get to the goal line. So this is a team that really operates well defensively in the opponent's red zone.
Early mistake for the Columbia offense. Garrett Basilpizio to work with a play fake and a second level throw has Jordan Triplett out of the backfield. Out of bounds just shy of the 30. Has a gain of 18.
Jordan Triplett, a sophomore, spent his first year at the Air Force Academy and then came to Cornell and has had an incredible first year. And he's kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. He's a great guy out of the backfield. He also catches the ball really well.
And for a guy who was running the option at the Air Force Academy, ran wishbone in high school, he has become a receiving weapon for the Big Red. Basilpizio, RPO, chooses the pass option as Brendan Lee in the flat. Tiptoeing the sideline, pushed out of bounds at the 35.
One of the things we've seen more and more out of this Cornell offense are these quick shots to either one side or the other. Sometimes they're screen-like, and sometimes they're just, like here's another one.
Another quick hitter. Doran Smith makes the first tackler miss. Comes up just short of midfield. Doran Smith, been Cornell's go-to receiver and a guy that Dan Swanstrom credits for setting the tone for this Big Red offense. Moving so quickly. Lee, that time, couldn't bring it in. Was broken up out along the edge. And Cornell got to be careful because that came a little bit too close for comfort to a catch and a fumble.
They were kind of like, we're just going to keep doing this till they stop us. Doran Smith is just such a leader. He's a guy they look to in the locker room. He's one of the 30 seniors that were honored before the game. Just pretty much everything you want in a football player and a young man.
And Dan Swanstrom said he's a guy that he credits for helping move this program in the right direction. Delayed handoff to Triplett. Got a good push up front from this Cornell offensive line that have really found their footing toward the tail end of the season. The running game getting going down the stretch is part of that 4-game winning streak, and the Big Red like where they are at up front. Quick throw on 3rd and 5, and Xavier Bowman, the freshman, reels in. He's right at the first down marker and has enough to move the chains at the 42.
So I just learned today that Basilpizio, the offensive line, showed up today, and inside every locker was a watch. Basilpizio bought every lineman a watch and said, you guys have given me a lot, and had a card in there. Said, you've given me a lot of time this year. I'm going to give some back to you. That almost makes me cry being an old offensive lineman. And these guys were all at breakfast wearing those watches, man. It was really something to see.
On first down, Basilpizio has all kinds of time, floating one down the middle. And Hamilton had it broken up at the last moment.
Here's another guy that's really emerged. Hamilton has had a couple of weeks of exciting plays, and he was about to make another one, good defensive play that broke that up. But he's another guy, another one of these young guys that, literally the first 3 weeks of the season was on the scout team, and now he's worked his way up into a starting position.
Yeah, strong play by M.D. Alway, the freshman out of Dallas, Texas. Columbia is short in the secondary, dealing with a couple of injuries today, so see how he holds up as the afternoon goes along. Basilpizio, second level sliding grab by Brendan Lee inside the red zone, and a first down for the Big Red.
Basilpizio rolls out. He could have run for 20. This offensive line is giving him a lot of time. Now you got something kind of weird going on here.
Basilpizio had 3 offensive linemen, got 2 on the edge, going to throw it to Lee and let him block. Patient runner along the sideline, and he's out of bounds inside the 10. It's first and goal, and Cornell got nothing to save these plays for. They're going to go into the bag of tricks.
So surprised to not see a flag on that kind of play. Usually draws some kind of flag. Offensive linemen being that far away from the middle of the field, they're a little bit jumpy out there, but it was quite a play. Kind of what, it had a built-in screen pass situation.
First and goal from the 6 at a good-looking opening drive for the Big Red. Basilpizio running the option, and will keep. Picks up a couple down to the 4.
So they call him Beto, Basilpizio, which I might attend to. It's such a mouthful. His last name is such a mouthful. He has really evolved into a great option quarterback. I mean, he runs all the options. I mean, he's not afraid to tuck it away and go.
7 straight games with a rushing touchdown, a weapon down here in the red zone for the Big Red. Longest streak for Cornell since Ed Marinaro's 9 in a row in his 1971 Heisman runner-up season.
Cornell calls a timeout.
Cornell, their first 30 seconds.
So the Big Red will use a timeout, just trying to make sure that they are in sync with what they want to call down here. And we will step aside. Cornell knocking on the door, trying to take an early lead against Columbia. 15th door here on second and goal from the 4-yard line. Basilpizio runs the option, keeps it, extending for the goal line. Comes up just short at the 1.
Ran that same option to the left, and he hasn't pitched it yet. So, Beto is the kind of guy that it's not like he wants the glory of a touchdown. He just takes it on himself. He says, you know what, I'll do this. And it's not a bad thing. So now they've got about a yard left.
But work from the shotgun. 3rd and goal from the 1. Triplett, the running back. Basilpizio pulls it out. He'll try and throw a touchdown. He throws an interception. Kurtz along the back line, the intended receiver. And Jaden Marshall, the senior, in his final game at Columbia, comes up with a huge INT.
Well, I think everyone in the stadium is kind of wondering, why do that? They've only got a couple of guys in the pattern, and they let Columbia off the hook. So now the defense, Cornell's defense, is going to have to step up.
And what a play for the Columbia defense on their heels on that opening drive. Something that John Poppy talked about during the week and for most of this season. When guys are in position, we have to take advantage of our opportunities and make the plays when they're there. And Jaden Marshall just did.
He sure did.
Inside handoff to Walters. Picks up 4.
I think you're going to expect a lot of carries out of Walters after his performance last week and through the year, for that matter. He's just like I said, a big, strong back and somebody they've really depended on.
This is a Columbia backfield that lost Malcolm Terry in the preseason, saw Griffin Johnson go down with injury early in the year. Walters, that time, doesn't have anywhere to go.
No
gain, and it's 3rd and 6.
I think he's more effective inside. He just kind of strikes me as that kind of back. But now they've got a 3rd and long. Cornell defense, I'm sure, would love to get a 3 and out here. Still a moral victory for Columbia with the score still being 0-0.
Elliott Cooper flipping the formation into the slot at the bottom of the screen. Had the huge catch on the opening drive. Goodwin has time. Throws over the middle and completes for a 1st down. Out across the 40-yard line. The big tight end
really sniffed that out, and made a great play, great open field tackle, at least held on to him long enough till the cavalry arrived. And you got another 3rd and 3 or 4.
And Michael O'Keefe, somebody Dan Swanstrom pointed out to us during the week, is a guy who's really coming on toward the tail end of his career. 3rd and 4, keep it on the ground. Griffin Johnson has it and more. Johnson down the sideline, one man to beat. He is in for the touchdown. Griffin Johnson gets the scoring started with a chunk run.
He got past the line. Excuse me. He got past the line, and next thing you know, there's no one to beat. So that is a we've got a timeout by under further review.
Going to take a look at this 49-yard touchdown as it stands for Griffin Johnson, junior out of Marysville, Ohio, and a guy who dealt with injuries early, but back to a heavy workload last week and back in the end zone as it stands right now. We'll step aside as we take a look. Columbia and Cornell here in Ithaca.
Or anything official.
There you have it from our referee today, Mark Queen. Griffin Johnson coming up just shy of the end zone on that huge run. So 48.5, now 49. And 1st and goal for Columbia inside the 1, trying to take the lead. Handoff downhill to Walters. Did he cross the goal line? Cornell comes up with the goal line stop on 1st down. Just short.
You kind of think it's a foregone conclusion being that close, but that's almost exactly where Cornell was when they decided to get fancy and throw an interception. See if Columbia wants to return the favor, but I got a feeling 24 is going to be called upon here a couple of times.
Walter is just a freshman, but so big and so physical. Tough to tackle running downhill. Doherty goes in motion. Goodwin will keep it. Gets the push. Extends. And scores.
Walters for a touchdown.
2 got jammed up at the handoff point, and it's Walters who carries it in for the first 6 of the day.
Well, Cornell kind of made him work for it a little bit, but the big play was that the run from scrimmage for 48 point whatever yards. Columbia is definitely showing up for this game.
Hugo Mary on for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. And we're just under 3.5 minutes to go in the first. What a turn of events. Big Red rolling, headed 1st and goal at the 4, throw an interception in the end zone, and then Columbia marches right down the field to punch it in to take the lead. Walters using 8 plays, 80 yards, and Columbia's offense picking up where they left off last Saturday. Moving the football and finding the end zone. Such a strong finish against Brown in a game that was so close. And they capitalize on the end zone interception by Garrett Basilpizio and march right down the field to take a 7-0 lead. Mary kicks it away. Brendan Lee will bring it in and wave fair catch. And a second try for the Cornell offense. We'll start from the 25-yard line. Matt, everything but the finish for the Big Red on that opening drive looked really good. Just got to take care of the ball.
Yeah, and that's been the hallmark of some of their drives this year has been one breakdown. We've heard Coach Swanstrom talking about all but a few minutes of a 60-minute game. So these are the things that you deal with a young team.
Smith will motion across the formation. They'll hand it to him on a jet sweep, testing the edge, and he's thrown down.
Ball carried by Dorn.
Columbia either had that sniffed out or had the right defense. There was somebody following Smith across the formation, so a lot of running around for no yards.
Junior Charlie Newton stepping into a starting role this season for Columbia, part of this younger linebacker level. Basilpizio floating one in, and it's caught by Xavier Bowman, his second grab today, and he's out across the 45-yard line for a first down.
There's another guy just sort of with Xavier's just, this might be the first game that he's had receptions in. A lot of guys that are coming of age.
Dump it out to Triplett. Lowers the shoulder and keeps on running. Jordan Triplett inside the Columbia 30. Physical after the catch.
Swiss Army knife guy. And then at the end of the run, you had the safety going to come up and support strongly and kind of got put on his butt.
So natural in this offense. Basilpizio on the roll. Has a man. It's Brendan Lee. Inside the 10-yard line. And the Big Red right back down in scoring position.
I'm sure they would have rather had Lee just run it in the end zone. Because now they're down in this, in the ultra red zone. And that hasn't been exactly where they've been the strongest this year. But we'll see what happens here.
What a start for Garrett Basilpizio. Yeah, the mistake, but 9-12 for 146 to begin his day. Handoff to Triplett with a flag down. Spun away from the first tackle. Got down to the 2-yard line. Might all be wiped away here.
Penalty flag on the play. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Goes on the left guard, Ty Short.
Whenever you're laying on the ground and you're maybe on top of the guy you were blocking and you got a flag that lands right beside you, it's probably going to be and there you can kind of see Ty. Ty gets a hold of him, got him in a full Nelson.
Locked up with Joshua Powell. He and Justin Townsend on this Columbia defensive line, one of the best edge rushing tandems in the Ivy League. Out of the pistol on 1st and goal. Set up a screen. Doran Smith hauls it in. Not much room as he tries to fight forward. Columbia holding the edge. Jack Smahowski, the 2024 second team All-Ivy pick, playing in his final game at linebacker, doing a nice job there.
Along with Liam Donovan.
Columbia's coming up with good schemes down here in this red zone, Nick, to kind of counter what it is that Cornell's doing. This is not the place where they've run the ball the best. Got an open backfield.
Shantu Reed motions into the slot. 2nd and goal. Basilpizio has time. Now pressure coming. Rolls to his right and gets rid of it. Up over top of Doran Smith. with Jack Smahowski in coverage.
Surprised to not get another holding call there as Basso-Pizio rolled out. It looked like, it was just a pile. There's a Cornell guy and a Columbia guy. Usually that'll end up in a hold. It didn't. And I think Basso-Pizio would probably have run that.
This is a Columbia defensive line that can make life difficult. Townsend closing in on the Columbia sack record as 6th this year. Powell has been disruptive. Keller Patterson showing flashes on the inside. Basso-Pizio floating one up for the end zone. TJ Hamilton could not reel it in. He's the jump ball guy. But tangled up in the corner of the end zone. And it's 4th and a long 15 and goal here. So Cornell will have to kick a field goal.
Hamilton came up with almost an identical catch last week in Dartmouth, which looked almost impossible, and he came up with it. He's done that a couple of times, had another catch very similar to that in Penn, and he only had his first catch a week before. So here's a guy that's just kind of figuring out the position.
Caden Leshevitz to try and add 3, and he does. So Cornell on the board as Leshevitz knocks in a 32-yarder. Big Red answer the Columbia touchdown with a field goal in the final 30 seconds of this opening half.
No, once again, a mistake, costly mistake holding. Sometimes you can overcome that. This is a hard place on the field to overcome that kind of mistake. So, but Cornell comes out with some points. I think that's the thing that they would probably be pointing towards. Now you're getting into you're getting close to the second quarter. This is, this winning the second and third quarter, I think, is one of the keys to the success that Cornell has had the games that they've won. They're a strong middle of the game team, and so we'll see. Let's see what happens. I mean, Columbia has done well on both sides of the ball. They've stepped up when they needed to on defense, and they ran it right down the field on offense. So it's a good game.
Will Buck to kick it away. Griffin Johnson lets it bounce. Both offenses are averaging around 8.5 yards per play. Drives, not a ton of defense out there right now, except in the red zone where both teams have tightened up.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. If you're a team that is been doing a lot with big plays, once you get down close to the goal line, you got to figure out what you're going to do next, because that's your bread and butter is 20 or 30 yard gains, and you're inside the 10. You got to figure something else out.
But a good start to the day on the ground for Columbia. That's how they'll begin drive number 3 with Griffin Johnson spilling out across the 30-yard line to pick up 6.
Well, Columbia's been pretty simple. They're just running the ball. Both of their running backs have been successful. Griffin Johnson especially. The huge play that he had. So they're keeping it pretty simple right now.
Johnson with a good early start. 3 carries, 62 yards, and that'll take us to the end of the opening quarter. John Poppy saying during the week, we got to find a way. Been a struggle for the Columbia offense all season long. They have found some momentum the last couple of weeks. And a good start to the afternoon. Continues here to start the second quarter. Griffin Johnson has a first down to the 35.
Johnson seems to be the back today. He's been in there, ever since he ran that 48.5-yard run. I wouldn't pull him out either. Definitely the hot hand.
Columbia already over 70 rushing yards, one play into the second quarter. Go to the air this time. Goodwin steps up into a clean pocket and had it broken up. Trying to thread it in for Braden Doherty.
Good coverage. Joey Cheshire back there as a linebacker. Good pass defense. Second long. You know, these two teams run a very similar defense. We'll talk about this a little bit. They basically got 3 down linemen. Both these guys do it. Both these teams do the same thing. 3 down linemen, and then they'll mix and match some different guys up. Whoa, that goes to the band.
Goodwin airmails the throw. Jordan Kelly, the intended target at the first down sticks. And now 3rd and 10 upcoming. This is a Columbia offense that had to replace Joey Georgie in the offseason. 2nd all-time rusher in Columbia history. They lose Malcolm Terry in the running game. Return an experienced offensive line and a group that they felt like they would lean on coming into this year. But John Poppy said we didn't quite play to expectation early this season, and feels like they're closer to doing that and playing to their potential now. Goodwin taking a deep shot on 3rd and 10. He drops it in a bucket for Beckett Robinson. What a throw!
What a throw is right.
Beckett Robinson catches the pass.
One would say good coverage, unless the throw is perfect, and by gosh, it was. Launched it.
Beckett Robinson, the freshman from Oklahoma, and a guy that this Columbia coaching staff is so excited about. Loved him as a recruit. John Poppy said, we wish we had him available and healthy for all of our games. We think he would have made a huge difference. It's plays like that that can change a game. Inside the red zone, Goodwin back to the air, floats for the end zone. It is caught. Doherty goes up top to haul it in. Touchdown, Columbia.
Had an empty backfield, so you knew they were going to throw it. And they had a lot of people in the pattern. This has been a good offensive scheme, Nick, that Columbia has come up with that is really going after some of the weak points of this Cornell defense. Long passes. There are times when you can't. They haven't stopped a run. So they're calling the right plays, and then they're executing it.
Mary on for the extra point. It is good. And less than 2 minutes into the second quarter, Columbia first Ivy win of the season, and a couple of touchdown drives for an offense that has really struggled this year, but not the last couple of weekends. Chase Goodwin finding his form down the stretch. And it was Braden Doherty in the passing game to extend the lead.
Well, the Cornell offense has a lot of yards in this first half, but then only 3 points. So I'm sure they'd like to change that up.
Garrett Basilpizio, 10 of 15, 148 yards, and that big end zone interception on the opening drive. No problem for Cornell moving it around 8.5 yards per play. Columbia just under 10. Start the drive on the ground with Jordan Triplett. Got bottled up on the inside run.
Brought Kurtz in motion, and he kind of led that play into the hole. It wasn't extremely successful, just no room.
Cornell run game that struggled last week, just 41 yards. That was a season low on the road against Dartmouth. Go to the outside this time with Triplett. Tried to turn the corner. And it gets a few more across the 30, but not much else. Columbia flowing sideline to sideline and playing fast the way John Poppy was hoping they would defensively. Got some young guys on the second level. Said at times we've been able to tell the difference between how much experience we had last year to some of the youth this year. Wants guys to make a decision, read it, and if they're wrong, just create some chaos. Basilpizio on a broken play. Just had to keep it, and he's well short of the first down.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a. I'd have to agree with you that was not a plan. But Cornell comes up short, and Columbia's celebrating on the sideline.
Caden Leshevitz out to punt it away on 4th and 2 from the 33. Low snap, Leshevitz got it away. Columbia blocked a punt last week, so that's a small victory for the Big Red. Now we'll take a Cornell bounce inside the 25. And a nice job by Caden Leshevitz to flip the field after a Cornell 3 and out. Columbia's defense for here at home have dropped 4 straight in the series against Columbia, and the Lions out to an early 11-point lead and take over at their 25-yard line. Ground game has been effective. Griffin Johnson passes through the first wave and gets 2 to the 27.
You know, Nick, one thing that we've seen so far is in terms of game plans, I think Columbia's had a good one, good offensive game plan. Cornell certainly have been productive, but haven't produced any points. And I think one of the things that we've seen is some indecision. And maybe it's a bad play call.
On 2nd and 8, Goodwin lines it up, and it's incomplete. Dropped by Robinson with a flag down at the 31. Beckett Robinson has made so many really good plays. Also did have a critical fumble last week, so some of the miscues coming back to bite the freshman receiver. Ineligible man downfield, the call on the RPO. Cornell will
Correction. That penalty is declined.
accept and then declines. What you would have thought, setting up 3rd and 8. And now a big opportunity for the Big Red defense to get off the field. Columbia 4 of 5 on 3rd down so far today with a couple of big completions. Four-man rush. Goodwin steps up, floats one long. Nobody home with a flag down.
Couple flags. Looks like we're going to get a pass interference call on O'Keefe.
Yeah, Beckett Robinson trying to shake loose against Michael O'Keefe along the boundary.
Defense, number 26.
I thought, wow, he really overthrew him. Well, he kind of overthrew him because O'Keefe was hanging on to him.
So pass interference call extends the drive. 1st down for the Lions at the 40. Right back to the ground, and Michael Walters with a good burst to gain 6.
You know, the group that's having a lot of impact on this game, Nick, is that Columbia offensive line. They have been very effective, both run and pass. Have given them plenty of time, and they've opened some nice holes for these running backs. So these guys have kind of stepped up. There's a couple of guys that people have been pointing the fingers at, and I think that this group is really making a difference.
Goodwin pulls it out. Quick throw to Jordan Kelly. Shook away from that initial tackle and falling forward for a gain of a yard. Now 3rd and 3. Yeah, Matt, this offensive line, so much experience. 3 seniors, a pair of juniors, Noah Jordan and Mark Chapman, the leaders up front. John Poppy said that last week he felt like they did a really good job of winning double teams, getting to the 2nd level, and making it tough for the Brown defense to fit the run. Doing that again today. 3rd and 3. Right back to the ground. Walters keeps those legs churning. 2nd effort for a 1st down into Cornell territory.
And Walters, he's got his hand out. He's reading, what his blocker's given to him, and this is a real heady freshman running back. Nick, this is this guy's good. He's good early. Columbia's done a nice job running the ball.
It's that size and physicality for such a young player that has set him apart, bursting out of the scene the last few weeks. And he's got 4 more just shy of the 45-yard line.
The Cornell defense has done such a good job of getting off the field in the games that Cornell has won and been successful in, are really struggling to get off the field. And that will wear them down.
Extra offensive lineman out of the field for Columbia, James Lill. Going to pound it straight ahead with Griffin Johnson.
Griffin Johnson, the ball carrier.
Down to the 41 with a gain of 5. It's 3rd and a yard. And this is the type of drive that John Poppy was hoping to see out of his offense. Mentioned that, they started the game against Harvard with an 18-play drive, really running the football well, controlling the flow of the game. He said that's, at this stage of where we are this season, who we want to be, and that's playing out right now. Handoff to Johnson inside. It'll be close. He's right at the marker.
Give him the first down.
And he's got enough.
Ball carried by Griffin Johnson.
Just out across that Cornell 39-yard line.
So looking at these two defenses again, they've got 3 down linemen, 3 what we would call D linemen, and then everyone else is either a D back or a linebacker. We got guys coming off the edge.
Straight ahead to Johnson again, and another really good gain on first down. 7 yards for Griffin Johnson, who is eating up this Cornell run defense.
Well, and what you're seeing is, you can just watch, you just look at it. You watch that the white jerseys. They are 2 or 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, in contact with a red jersey. That basically says that White's winning.
Columbia approaching 100 yards in this first half. Johnson stumbled, but still has enough for the first down. Pick up a 4. And Columbia now up over 100 yards in the first half. And Griffin Johnson helped by that 48-yard run to set up Columbia's first touchdown as 85 yards.
Well, we know that Johnson knows what to do with it when he gets in the open field. That's for darn sure.
Hand off to Walters. That time got stonewalled. Wilson Selzer, the senior playing on senior day with a strong run fit. It's a play for no gain.
Kind of the old school lead draw play. Walters is better if he's moving forward, from the snap. He's sitting back there and waiting for the ball. I mean, he's pretty effective with that, can be, but this guy gets ahead of steam. So now he's lined up in a position where get ahead of steam, and he's dangerous.
Second down, right back to the ground. Walters got wrapped up initially. Second effort gets him down inside the 45. Gain of 3. And now 3rd and 7. Asked Dan Swanstrom during the week, what are the keys to stopping the run, knowing that Columbia was going to try and come in and run the football a ton. He said, we want to be gap sound, don't want running backs to get downhill. More east-west running versus north and south. And right now, Columbia, for the most part, going north and south. Back-to-back stops to set up 3rd and 7, though, out quickly. And Goodwin not on the same page with Cole Freeman in the slot. 4th and 7.
Miscommunication.
Braylon Howard, the closest defender.
I think Columbia's kind of feeling their oats here a little bit. They're saying, you know what? We're going to go for it on 4th and 7.
There's a little wind on the field. It is at Columbia's back. Hugo Mary on the year has a long of 29, although His first 2 years has hit from 40 plus. This would be a 42-yarder. But
This would be an
Columbia,
enormous play for the Cornell defense. You get a turnover here, and that's a big deal.
on 4th and 7.
Bad
High
snap.
Goodwin handles. Now floats to the end zone. Robinson can't bring it in with a flag down.
Oh, that's
Michael
really
O'Keefe
interesting.
had the coverage. Those two hand fighting.
You got a ref with his hat off. Sometimes that means guy went out of bounds.
Flag on the play.
I don't know. I didn't get a good look at it.
And the initial
But,
signal is pass interference on O'Keefe.
Pass interference.
Number 9. It wasn't on number 9. It was on O'Keefe.
So they announced 9, which is Damon Barnes in the Cornell secondary. And now Dan Swanstrom is over along the sideline just trying to get an explanation.
I don't think I'd buy that one. I'm sorry. Let's see if we can get another look at it. So he's got good pressure. I don't see it unless it happened before that. Of course, the ref's standing right there. I don't know. That's unless it was on Barnes, and it wasn't even in that.
There is no foul.
Thank you for the clarification.
So they'll pick up the flag after a long conversation. And I don't know if I've ever seen that where they announce the penalty and then pick it up. We've seen discussion and then they say no flag on the field, but I don't know if I've ever seen it announced and then rescinded.
I'm going to tell you what, Nick, that could be a huge play. So instead of, being inside the 10, Cornell gets the ball. It's their ball, turnover, taking it at the 25. If Cornell, this would be a great time to take advantage of this momentum. Run it down the field.
So Cornell takes over at the 25. Smith in motion, downhill run with Triplett. He's got a hole and some room. Jordan Triplett into the secondary and into Columbia.
How to play football.
Had that breakout performance, 123 receiving yards against Penn. Basilpizio slinging one over the middle and nearly picked off. Jaden Marshall getting his hands on the football again. Had the INT in the end zone on the opening drive, and there is an opportunity to make a play that goes by the boards for Columbia.
And a real break for Cornell. That is okay. We're going to give you one more over on that one. You kind of, again, game plan, running plays. I mean, I can't second guess them, but
on second down, Columbia brings the blitz. Basilpizio out into the flat. Kurtz makes the grab and breaks the tackle. Ryder Kurtz loose down the sideline and shoved out of bounds inside the 20.
Once Kurtz got loose from that first tackler, I'm surprised he didn't take it all the way in. Good job by Basilpizio getting it free, but good luck to one guy bringing Ryder Kurtz down.
A.J. George finally made the tackle. That has been a point of emphasis all year for Columbia. John Poppy has not been happy with how they've tackled this year. Feels like they're turning what should be a 1 or a 2 yard gain into 5 or 6. Basilpizio floats toward the end zone with a flag out. Doran Smith, the intended receiver, and he was tangled up.
Had him one-on-one, and Doran's pretty tough one-on-one.
Penalty flag on the play.
So that should get him inside the 10-yard line.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3.
Carter McCray, the sophomore out of San Antonio, was a 2024 All-Ivy honorable mention, and a guy that doesn't get tested all that much with how good he has been since he came out of campus and was a starter from day one. That time called for the penalty. And now can Cornell cash in the red zone? Turnover and field goal. First two trips inside the 20. And a whistle before the snap. Still waiting on what the heck's going on from our referee, Mark Queen. I guess nothing.
These refs are having an interesting day. They're doing fine, but they're doing a lot of communicating. So first down, 3-yard line.
Handoff to Triplett, goes inside.
That's what I do 3 times, but I'm an offensive tackle.
Got about halfway there. Inside 3 minutes to go in the first half. Cornell does get the ball to start the second, and I would imagine the Big Red, obviously priority is to score, but think about trying to run some clock off here. Make it difficult for Columbia on the other end. On second and goal, right back to Triplett. He's going nowhere. Dumped in the backfield.
Jordan Triplett, the ball carrier.
With a flag down very late. Joshua Powell off the edge. Helped out by Jack Smahowski from the linebacker level, and now got to check the flag.
The only guys standing up were Columbia guys. So unless somebody from Cornell was doing something weird on the ground, this is going to go against Columbia.
Didn't appear like there was much of anything.
Well, they
I'm going to play. I'm supposed to like defense. Number 13, this first. Taunting. The goal. Automatic first down.
So it goes on Joshua Powell, senior who helped make the play, and a guy who's played a ton of football at Columbia. Maybe jumped on the pile a little bit late.
Standing over him, yakking. That's always a good idea. Always stand over a guy, screaming at him while he's laying on the ground with an official right beside you. Perfect. Just kidding to those young guys out there. They're out there watching. Don't do that. Go back, get in the huddle. Get up and play again because it'll be third down. Now you've put your team in a position where Cornell again has 3 or 4 downs to get it in the end zone. And we're coming up to the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, by all accounts, Powell, a fiery competitor, but lost his composure there with a personal foul call. It takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Cornell's got it first and goal, trying to make Cornell knocking on the door. Have it first and goal at the 1, trying to punch it in for the first time today. Touchdown run in 7 straight games for Garrett Basilpizio. He'll hand it off to Triplett, who finds his way in. Big Red into the end zone for the first time this afternoon. Cut it to a 1-score game.
It took a while for Cornell to find their way to the end zone, but they finally did, and got a great push on that right side. And it's this game has got this particular game today has mistakes are playing a huge role, which they do. That's why you play the game.
Leshevitz on for the extra point. It is no good.
The kick is no good.
Cornell's special teams this year. There we go. That's the touchdown. And they've had a real struggle. They had some injuries with kickers.
And those struggles continue. Stays a 5-point game. 1:57 to go.
Now fall within your reach. But did a good job. No fumble. That's a win.
Hang on to the ball. That's all you need.
There's plenty of time for this Columbia offense, Nick. These guys have Done a good job running the ball.
Start from the 37-yard line. We'll hand it off to Griffin Johnson. Worked away from a couple of big red tacklers, and he's out across the 45-yard line. Gain is 7 with the clock winding, 1:35 and ticking. Columbia does have all 3 timeouts. See how aggressive they want to be. Goodwin rolling right and finds Robinson working back to the football as enough for the first down. And John Poppy will spend his first time out.
Defended by Braylon Howard.
Just going to move the stick, should say. Going to keep the timeout in his back pocket. 1:20 to go. It was over near the official thinking about it.
Yes.
Goodwin floats one toward the sideline, and it's incomplete. Trying to thread it in, back shoulder to Doherty.
This could be a roughing the passer.
Penalty flag on the play. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 95. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
There's another mistake. So they were going hard after him.
Goes on Max Van Fleet, playing in his final Cornell home game this afternoon.
Max said, that's on me.
All of a sudden, Columbia got it at the Cornell 35. Handoff to Johnson. Good pursuit off the edge by
Griffin Johnson, the ball
Ben Sahakian to bring him down. And now Columbia will use their first timeout.
Timeout. Columbia. Their first. 30 seconds. Ben Sahakian. Set the game clock to 1 minute. James Reinbold on the tackle. 1 minute on the game clock. Thank you.
Reset the game clock to a minute. As Columbia continues this drive to try and put points on the board, looking for their first Ivy League win and a showdown in the game. Yale and Harvard to decide the at-large berth for the first time in Ivy League history to the FCS playoffs. Harvard already clinching a share of the title, but obviously bragging rights involve who won the game. And right now, it has been all Yale into the third quarter. Bulldogs at 38-14 on Harvard, previously undefeated. Dartmouth could also be in the mix for a share. And an at-large bid up by 7 against Brown. Deep ball to the end zone. Out of the timeout, it's incomplete. Robinson, the intended receiver. Braylon Howard was riding shotgun.
The pass from Chase Goodwin is incomplete.
Well, you can see what's on their mind. They've had success with the deep ball. They've provided good protection. So I don't see why they wouldn't go deep.
Robinson
down
making
now.
that 52-yard grab earlier on in this first half. Second down. Goodwin back to the air. Down the sideline again, and it's broken up. Doherty, the intended target, has the height advantage on Damon Barnes. He had good coverage along the sideline, and another flag down near the line of scrimmage.
It's like a hold on Columbia. I think Cornell will probably take this. Move them back. What do you think, Nick? Move
Looks
them
like
back.
they're going to
take the down.
decline, but I would think
Offense, number 79. The penalty decline. It is on the play is fourth down.
Oh, it's fourth down. I lost my downs.
I don't know that that's 100% right. Now, the scoreboard said second down, so maybe there was some miscommunication there. Obviously, if it's third down going to fourth, going to decline the penalty. So that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Fourth down and 10 at the 35, 48 ticks left. And now if Cornell can come up with a stop, maybe a chance to get into field goal range on the other end.
Big down for this Cornell defense.
4th and 10. Goodwin with the ball in his hands. Well protected. Slings it underneath. Has a man in stride, extending for the first down. And he moves the sticks. Lucas Bullock out of the backfield, the senior running back, makes a big play to keep the chains moving.
Cornell rushed 3-man. Got very little pressure on the quarterback. And he found Bullock.
Go to the running back on 4th and 10. Drive continues from the 24. Goodwin. This time a blitz coming, rolling out to the edge. Throws one up top, and it's caught. Titus Evans makes his first grab of the day. A guy who's emerged as Columbia's top receiver. Has been all over the place the last couple of weeks. 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games. And he brings that one in to set up 1st and goal at the 5. And Columbia will use a timeout, their second.
Here's the play. Kind of faked that, the reverse. Incredible throw and catch. Now, Columbia's calling good plays. They have a good game plan. And, again, their players are executing. That sounds so simple. It sounds so easy. Call good plays, and the players do their job. Well, it is so hard to get both of those things going on at the same time.
This is a Columbia offense coming in today that on the season averaged 197 yards passing per game. That's last in the Ivy League. 140 in this first half. Impressive out of Chase Goodwin in the chemistry they have developed last couple of weeks. Back shoulder throw incomplete, looking Titus Evans' way again. And a physical battle with Michael O'Keefe ends in an incompletion, 2nd and goal.
Goodwin looking for the interference call, holding call, something.
Yeah, those two have a lot of chemistry. Chase Goodwin and Titus Evans lived together over the summer, interning in New York City with one another. Found a way to sneak in a few pass game reps along the way. 2nd and goal. Goodwin right back to him, deflected and nearly intercepted. Bounced over toward Damon Barnes, but he couldn't haul it in.
So looking on the other side of the ball, this would be a great, this would be a victory if they hold it to 3 points. And they're playing some good defense right now. O'Keefe has been, he's been flagged a couple of times for interference. One of them, I think, was an iffy call, but that has not dampened his spirit in terms of going after both the receiver and the ball. Let's see what we get here.
Goal, play fake, fade to the other side. It's Evans again, and this time matched up with Braylon Howard, draws the flag.
Draws 2 flags, so, I mean, they're standing right there with him. Probably didn't need to do that. Pass was
intended for Titus Evans, defended by Braylon Howard, penalty flag on the flag. For 7, if foul occurred in the end zone, the ball placed at the 2-yard line.
Not that that's anybody's plan.
Hand off to Johnson, had to bounce and gets brought down. Loss of a couple yards in Columbia. See if they're going to spend that last time out. They don't.
Made the tackle.
Max Van Fleet down on the Cornell side, and some questionable clock management for Columbia here near the end of the half.
I'll be honest with you, I forgot about the clock myself.
Down to 1 timeout. That's really, would imagine, the thought process behind a couple of fades in a row, but
sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they didn't forget about it. But
Columbia has really one opportunity to run it and probably don't want to take that on 1st down. And they do get
Defensive play.
stopped and maybe bailed out
Please set the game clock to 8 seconds.
because of the injury to Van Fleet. So Columbia will hang on to their timeout. That is a big break for the Lions, who came close to having to spend their last one and forced to kick a field goal. This will give them another opportunity on 2nd and goal.
They've put 2 seconds back on the clock, Nick, so they've got 8 seconds. Looks to me like they're going to try one more play. At least one more. I don't know. Maybe they'll try a bunch more. This Cornell defense can really claim a victory here if they keep them out of the end zone.
2nd and goal at the 3. High snap, give to Walters. He's close, but doesn't get there. Down at the 1, 3 ticks to go in the half. Timeout Columbia, and now decision
Now
time.
they'll kick it. Oh, well, I thought they would. I thought the kicking team was coming on.
4 seconds on the game.
4 seconds on the clock. Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
One play.
This is the last play.
This is it.
So, again, that center quarterback exchange is exciting. It should not be exciting. That should not be an exciting part of the play. That center snaps it over his head. It could be, I don't know.
To see what Columbia elects to do here. And they are going to keep the offense on the field. That's what the analytics would tell you to do. So 3rd and goal at the 1, final play of the half. See what Columbia has here.
Empty backfield. Cornell's going to call timeout.
Cornell will use their 2nd timeout.
30 seconds.
Wanted to get a look at the initial formation from Columbia.
Interesting that Columbia came out with an empty backfield. I mean, either way, Columbia, this drive started with the 2-minute timeout, and Columbia has just marched it down the field. They've gotten a little help. They've definitely gotten a little help, but they've been effective. This offense has been effective.
A.J. Simpkins into the game. Quarterback run and gets in for a touchdown. Columbia cashes in to close the half.
4 touchdowns. A.J. Simpkins, touchdown, Columbia.
Is their running quarterback.
Simpkins gets it done. And the roll of the dice pays off for John Poppy.
Go for the 2-point conversion.
And a guy who has not attempted a pass or a run on the year, the senior gets into the end zone. 2-point conversion on a roll. And it's Goodwin right on target. Titus Evans against Cornell, including an Ivy title clincher a year ago in New York City. Historic season, their first share of an Ivy League title since 1961. Of course, both these teams out of contention this year. Can either be Harvard with an outright title or Yale with a share of the title this year. The Bulldogs up big in the 4th quarter against Harvard, 45-28, 11:45 to go in that one in New Haven. So some shockwaves, I suppose, certainly for a potential blowout in a game of that caliber. Harvard so good all year, fighting for the first ever FCS playoff bid coming out of the Ivy League.
Columbia need to receive the Cornell.
Yale can hold on. It'll go to the Bulldogs, but stranger things have happened Underway in the second half. Kickoff to Brendan Lee. Got some room, got a block, and has about the same as a touchback near the 25-yard line with some pushing and shoving after a 26-yard return. And now comes a critical opening possession of the third quarter for the Cornell offense, trailing by 13.
So the slot to the right, to the left with Hamilton, the wide out.
Drive starts. Sulpizio with play action, working toward the sideline. And is off target, trying to find Doran Smith. Tight coverage by Carter McCray.
They had two guys in the pattern. We sent two guys out, so Doran's cut was maybe a little late. I don't know. But now you've got 2nd and 10.
Sulpizio pulls it out. Pressure coming. Had to get rid of it. Tangled up Smith and McCray again. And all of a sudden, 3rd and 10. And speaking of tangled up, we got a couple of helmets that got locked in. Dylan Page and like Joshua Powell off the edge. That was A.J. George, the outside linebacker. Just make sure the helmets are on the right way.
That's such a weird thing to have happen. Next thing you know, you're just staring at the guy's face that you've been beating on all day, and you're locked up.
Definitely worse when it's the opponent.
No, that's brutal.
Saw that happen a couple of weeks ago with Josh Allen, Bills quarterback, and Gabe Davis, their wide receiver.
Right.
Celebrating a touchdown, got locked in. Wasn't as awkward. They practiced together all the time. 3rd down and 10, 3-man rush. Sulpizio protected, throws into a tight window, and Kurtz hauled it in. First down across the 45 for the moment. Cornell trying to go quickly. Columbia thought that ball might have hit the turf.
Jeremiah Douglas defending.
So they're going to look at it again. I think that may be a hard one to overrule based on where the look is going to be. We don't have cameras everywhere. So this will probably be the shot they'll have to make the decision on.
Another look at it here and some traffic and Kurtz. That ball looks like it hit the ground.
Yeah, I'm sure I think they're going to probably call that back.
So they'll take a look at this. We'll have a ruling on the other side here and a critical call early on in the third quarter. Incomplete. And a 3-and-out for the Cornell offense to begin the third quarter.
Not exactly that strong start that we described for Cornell success.
For Columbia, Jordan Kelly.
Shevitz gets it away, and it's fielded by Kelly. Runs up across the 40-yard line and got some good progress just shy of midfield. Brought down at the Columbia 49-yard line with a 10-yard return and good field position for Columbia to begin this drive in the opening minute of the second half.
Well, the Cornell defense has plenty of work to do. Columbia's starting off with trips left.
Ground game was outstanding in the first half. 120 yards, another high snap. Goodwin corrals, gets it to Johnson, who's got a burst into the secondary. Griffin Johnson.
Ball carried by Griffin Johnson.
No worse for the wear this afternoon. Gets inside the 35. 18-yard gain.
Right now, Cornell's best defense would be that center hiking it over everybody's head.
How the day started for Columbia.
Exactly.
Right back to Johnson. He's got all sorts of room. Lowers the shoulder and finishing forward. Griffin Johnson down to the Cornell 25. Griffin Johnson dealing with injuries early this year. Back to 13 carries last week against Brown, his heaviest workload of the season. And John Poppy saying we are concerned more of what made him really good a season ago, and that is on display this afternoon in Ithaca. We'll take a timeout for an injured Columbia offensive lineman. The Lions on the move again, up 13.
Needing a timeout.
Calls early, but on that play, he was in the right spot. So you had Amari Owens as the guy that went out for the left tackle for the Columbia that went out of the game. I'll tell you something. These officials, you never want to doubt them, but let's say they're
Should be 2nd and 16 after the 15-yard penalty.
They're not having their best game.
Charlie Slavic coming in for Amari Owens after the injury. Doherty goes in motion. 2nd and 16. Back to Griffin Johnson. See if Cornell can stop his momentum. He is tough to bring down and gets back to the original line of scrimmage and sets up 3rd and long with a tackle by James Reinbold, who Dan Swanstrom, Matt, pointed out to us during the week. One of the most improved players and has really appreciated what he has done as a senior this year to help set the tone for the Cornell defense.
Well, and he's overall just an exceptional young man. He's a Campbell Award semifinalist. He's the academic Heisman Award, they call it.
3rd down and 10. Keep it on the ground. Johnson gets 4.
So
now 4th and 6, and John Poppy not afraid to keep his offense on the field. And the first half looks like another go-for-it situation in this spot.
This is not a real sign of respect for the Cornell defense. I think that's the least of the worries, but Poppy's like, we've gotten this before.
4th down here from the 31. Blitz coming. Goodwin got rid of it. Incomplete. Broken up by Damon Barnes. Goodwin looking for his tight end, Braden Doherty. And Cornell's defense comes up with a big stop to keep the Big Red in it.
Well, Cornell's defense says, if the offense isn't going to be the spark, we're going to be the spark. You see they got good pressure on Goodwin. He threw that a little bit earlier than he wanted to. Plus good coverage.
So Cornell comes up with the stop, trailing by 13. See if the offense can find some rhythm. Drive starts with Triplett on the ground and a 1st down run for the sophomore out of Georgia.
This is what Triplett does when he's running well. He kind of pokes around and finds a soft spot in that line, and then goes. And so that's a good sign. If you get Triplett doing that, you've got T.J. Hamilton, the basketball player out here on the right-hand side.
Those instincts for Triplett showing up. One cut and he was gone. Jet sweep handoff to Doran Smith. Some heavy contact out on the edge, and Carter McCray shoved him out of bounds after a good 1st down gain.
McCray came up and met him. That play has worked well for Cornell in previous games, and I think that's what Columbia saw. You got Doran Smith. Back it up a little there, Doran.
One of the things that John Poppy said that Carter McCray has been working on, a little more physical at the point of attack against the run, certainly was that time. Pressure in Basilpizio's face. He gets away, will take off and run, and Beto turns what was close to a big loss into a couple-yard gain.
One of the things we haven't seen from Beto today is him running very much. And I don't know if that's by design or not, but definitely we had an early beat. Somebody got beat early, or somebody came free and accelerated his reads, so he kind of got out of sync.
Works out empty
Three-man
on
rush.
3rd and 5. Basilpizio floating for the seam, tipped and nearly intercepted. Looking Ryder Kurtz's way again, got deflected by Charlie Newton. And now 4th and 5 from around midfield, and feels like this is potential go-for-it territory for Cornell, trailing by 13, and they will. Turned away on a couple of big 4th downs last week. Can they come up with the big conversion here?
Hamilton and Lee split left.
Basilpizio just going to punt it away and try and pin Columbia deep, and that one will check up inside the 10-yard line. Xavier Bowman down to touch it up. And a 40-yard punt for Basilpizio to make it a long field for Columbia with 9:37 to go in the 3rd. So the Big Red off to punt it away. Columbia gets the stop. 2 for 2 to begin the 2nd half. Still a 13-point game here in pins Columbia deep inside their 10-yard line to start this drive. Beto getting better at that quick kick. Maybe not something that you love from your quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 8. Handoff to Walters. Not much room, and Cornell fitting the run well on 1st down.
Bottle that inside up a little bit more. Thing is, they've been so successful throwing the ball and throwing the play action. That's you can't just stop one thing.
155 yards on the ground for Columbia today. They'll keep working it. Walters steps away from a tackle and has got a 1st down out to the 20. Gain of 10.
I mean, there was a point where there was no one in front of him. I mean, talk about open field.
Make that initial tackler miss, and then straight downhill for the freshman who has been so impressive. Goodwin stands in and tries to find Titus Evans. Overshot his man. Tight coverage on the outside. Darius Wise Jr. with Williamson rotating over.
As we've talked about a little bit here, Nick, these two defenses are very similar. At 3 down linemen, that's usually what you end up rushing with. And Columbia does the same thing. So that's why we haven't seen, a ton of pressures or sacks today, because you're primarily getting a 3-man rush for both teams.
2nd down, back to Johnson. Got some room off tackle. And Griffin Johnson continues his strong day. Gain of 10. Move the chains.
Both of these backs are like one tackle away from breaking it again. So this Cornell just kind of just seems like they're just barely hanging on by their fingernails on those runs. Again, I've got to tip my hat to this Columbia offensive line. They're coming off the ball. They're providing good protection. They're doing everything that's asked of them.
Another run to Johnson. That time corralled by the Cornell defense. Picks up 3.
It must be, you bring in this hotshot freshman, highly recruited kid, big guy, and now here's the veteran in Johnson, and he's people are maybe doubting him. He'd had like you said, he'd had some injury problems. It's like, hey, I'm still here. It's great competition.
Yeah, John Poppy said he is the consummate upperclassman. Has been a big help to Michael Walters with what he's taught him. Just telling him how to go about his business. He's also been the consummate running back this afternoon. Got another good burst out to the 44-yard line. Guy who came in his season high in rushing, 62 yards. He's closing in on 150.
You look at those runs. You're literally one guy away from breaking it. So that is just when Cornell's playing well, they've got everybody at the ball.
On first down, Goodwin facing a blitz, now taking a shot. Intercepted. Michael O'Keefe fighting back to the football. Intended for Robinson, and O'Keefe comes up with a big play.
And this time we call O'Keefe's name because of something he did well. And he's had some great plays. Don't get me wrong, but here he is. He's one-on-one coverage. And he comes up, he's right in the right. Wow. That is a great interception right there. O'Keefe is just such a great kid, Coach says. He's just, kind of everything you want in a defensive leader. So that's a big turnaround.
Fifth-year senior out of Wakefield, Massachusetts, and a guy who made the decision to come back to Cornell for one last year. And here he is making a big-time play on senior day. Can that flip the momentum for Cornell? Basilpizio starts the drive with a throw into the flat. Ryder Kurtz picks up a couple.
To Ryder Kurtz.
Fake that to the running back and then flip that out to Kurtz. That's again, one of those flat passes that scare you to death once in a while when you're down in this part of the world. But they pulled it off.
On the ground with Triplett. Bounces to the outside. Can he get that last block? Breaks a tackle and tiptoeing the sideline. Has enough for a first down. With a gain of 10.
He's just got an uncanny way of stringing that out and using his blockers. Here he is. He's got nothing inside. He goes to the outside. Look at his feet. Kid's got incredible balance in feet. It just amazes me. Things that these guys get away with. He's still not off his feet. Got to run out of bounds.
First down, first touch for Jontu Reed on the day. Putting his shoulder down, and the senior comes up a couple yards shy of a first down.
Jontu's more of a straight ahead kind of guy, and he's a power runner.
Made by
senior day, big day for him.
And Jaden Marshall.
Out of Elkhart, Indiana. 9-yard gain on first down. Basilpizio to the air. Has all kinds of time. Now the pocket collapsing. Throwing toward the sideline. And Xavier Bowman didn't look it in.
You had Bowman and Hamilton, the only guys in the pattern. Bowman came back for it and almost made a good catch.
Broken up by Carter McCray.
Guy can really stretch the field. But some of that inexperience showing up for Cornell on the perimeter. 3rd and 1 at the 46. Tight formation for Basilpizio under center. Going to go away from the QB sneak. Handoff to Brendan Lee. He's got the first down and plus. Inside the Columbia 40-yard line.
A little different 4th and 1 play than we're used to seeing. See, everybody's kind of lined up thinking that Basilpizio's the guy. You got Kurtz out in front of you, which is like having a diesel dump truck out in front of you. He's going to run over about anything that gets in his way.
Good guy to lead the way.
Good guy to lead the way.
First down after the conversion. Basilpizio flips it out. TJ Hamilton makes the grab, and he's dumped on the spot. Good tackle by MD Alway, freshman on freshman after a gain of 5.
Is that TJ's first catch today? Might be.
Second grab.
Okay, he and Doran Smith are the wideouts. You've got 2 tight ends, and they're both to the left-hand side of the field, so maybe there's going to be something happening over there. But here's Albright coming back over to the right.
Sulpizio off the play fake. Dumps it down to John 2 Reed. Takes on contact and gets shoved out of bounds just shy of the first down.
You can kind of feel Cornell getting into a rhythm right now, Nick, where their plays are setting up the next play. So success is going to set up the next play. That's kind of what we got going on now with Cornell. They're keeping it pretty simple. These are not real complicated plays. Again, 2 tight ends to the left.
Handoff inside to Triplett. Moves the pile forward and has enough for a first down to the 25.
Now you're starting to see, with Cornell having the ball, now you're starting to see the red moving the white backwards. So you can just take a look at that line of scrimmage and see who's winning. Now the pass play is a little different, of course.
Sulpizio taking a shot toward the end zone. TJ Hamilton, the intended target, but those two not on the same page.
TJ's
empty
tall,
always
but not that tall.
Direction again, and he's 6'4", but he's not 6'11". Cornell been so efficient on this drive. A rare incompletion for Sulpizio, the way the Big Red have been rolling. On second down, pull it out, throw to the flat. Brendan Lee, catch and run, shakes away from a tackle, but couldn't stay in bounds. He'll come up shy of the 15.
So it's a quick screen, and the blocker out there, Matheson pitched, Cleveland, Ohio boy, did a nice job of clearing it out for Lee just a little bit. They run that play several different ways.
3rd and 3 for Cornell. Sulpizio flips it out. Run the same play to the other side. Lee looking for a tackle with Ryder Kurtz leading the way. And depending on the spot, he's got enough for a first down.
So again, that a quick screen. With you, that time he had a tight end, 2 wideouts out there. Few variations on that. Thing you don't see as much anymore, Nick, is just the good old, screen in the middle, right? And the old school, here's where the screen goes. That'll probably cycle back into favor in 10 years.
Cameron Shannon goes in motion into the slot. Play fake. Sulpizio pressure, steps up and had to get rid of it. Chucks it out through the back of the end zone, and there was nobody home.
Probably going to get called for that.
And that is the question that John Poppy is asking, and out comes the flag from Mark Queen.
Touching the grounding. Offense. Number 8. Sulpizio lost it down at the spot of the pile. Second down.
Again, we had quick pressure, and Sulpizio is trying to go through his sequence, and he's not able to get there. So he's having to worry about his own hide to begin with, and just ends up in a situation where he just gets rid of the ball. And unfortunately, there wasn't a Cornell player near.
So penalty will back up the Big Red. 2nd and 14. Inside a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. Cornell down 2 touchdowns. Sulpizio. Quarterback draw goes airborne.
Ball carried by Garrett Sulpizio.
And gets a little bit past the original line of scrimmage.
Pulled the left tackle, came across and took out nose guard. So got him a little room.
And a jump to cap the run for good measure.
Right. Now you're at 3rd and 10.
Ball on the 14-yard line. 4-man rush. Sulpizio steps up. Pressure coming, and he goes down.
Charlie Newton with the sack of Garrett Silpizio.
Charlie Newton gets home.
Had a lot to do with the coverage. Great job covering on the D-backs. This is kind of out here in terms of.
Will Buck is the holder. Caden Lachevitz,
Loss is 6.
defensive field goal.
Backs Cornell up to the 20, and this will be a 37-yard attempt for Caden Lachevitz from the right hash. And first, time expires in the third quarter. So the kick looked right on line, but Lachevitz will have to do it again. It can try for Caden Lachevitz after time expired in the third. Again from 37, Lachevitz in the other direction. Is good. Was running out of steam at the end, but Lachevitz puts 3 on the board. It's a 10-point game.
Definitely looked like it was slowing down. Had that spin that he put on it. But bless his heart, he put it through. Still a 2-score game for Cornell. They've still got some work to do. But the good news is that the defense seemed to have come back to life.
So big couple of points to put on the board for Caden Lachevitz. Make it a touchdown and field goal margin for Cornell to try and make up this deficit. Big Red looking to finish at 500 for the first time in 3 years. Have not finished with a winning record in Ivy play in 2 decades. Last time when they went 4-3 in 2005, that was Jim Knowles' second season here at Cornell.
Griffin Johnson.
Have some work to do
and Elliott Cooper
here in this fourth quarter. Buck kicks it away. Griffin Johnson waves fair catch. Drive starts at the 25, and would imagine that number 32 is going to stay out there for Columbia. They've been so good today. 156 rushing yards for the Lions, who are closing in on 200 as a team.
Must have been hard for Griffin to catch that ball and not take off running with it. I mean, he has moved around on this field today. He's just had a really productive day. 55 yards.
What a job for this Columbia offense. Back-to-back weeks, much more effective. And there goes Johnson downhill with a run, just a couple yards shy of a first. And he is...
I'll tell you what, he is running hard.
Made by Keith Williams.
Knocking defenders backward. Griffin Johnson dishing out some punishment at the end of that run. Kondakai Sherman, sophomore out of Michigan, who came up slowly after that last play. This is the type of offense that John Poppy has been looking for all season long. First down run of 8. Right back to Johnson. Has enough for the first down.
Ball carried by Griffin Johnson.
The host of tacklers there to bring him down.
Williamson.
The kind of plays that have been successful, I think, for Columbia. Been kind of running, line up in what used to look like the old I formation. Whether in shotgun or not.
First down for Columbia at the 38-yard line. Trying to keep it rolling on the ground. Right back to Johnson, and that time He slipped.
I don't know if anybody had anything to do with him going down besides.
He will head to the sideline. That was the only thing that has stopped Griffin Johnson today. It's the turf monster.
I don't think anybody. I don't know who's getting credit for that tackle, but two tight ends.
What a day he's had. Michael Walters, the reigning Ivy Rookie of the Week, held in check that time.
Walters ran the football.
And now 3rd and 8 after a gain of 3.
Big down for the Cornell defense. This is when Michael O'Keefe turns things around last time for Cornell by intercepting that ball.
Lucas Bullock, who come into the game, made a grab to pick up a pretty big first down back in the first half. And a big 3rd down again in front of the Big Red on defense. 3rd and 8, Goodwin.
Blitz.
Pressure coming, got hit as he got rid of it. Comes up short, throwing in the direction of Beckett Robinson. And Cornell's defense delivers a stop.
Looked like Ben Sahakian was putting the pressure on him. I think Columbia wanted to roughing the passer, but this is sort of what you call football. So you watch Ben. What's he supposed to slow up? Please. It's a great play.
Pressure coming
Cornell
quickly.
defense steps up.
In front formation for Columbia. Deep to receive for Cornell, Brendan Lee.
Got all kinds of fun stuff going on here.
First punt of the day for Tommy Sleeman. Had a really good year, but that time a little too much on it. It's back into the end zone for a touchback, and Cornell will start from their 20-yard line. Big Red. Cornell takes over, trailing by 10 at their 20-yard line. Garrett Basilpizio, 17-29 for 201 yards this afternoon, trying to put the Big Red offense in position. Ricardo Lagares with a carry. His first touch of the day, and does not have much.
By Ricardo Lagares.
Gain of a yard.
Kind of a change of direction play.
Stop was made by
You had
Mahowski.
Vito rolling out and kind of flipped it back up to running back. And got a yard, half a yard.
Jack Smahowski made the tackle. He was continued to anchor the second level of the Columbia defense. Senior captain playing in his last game. 2nd and 9. Basilpizio taking a shot. And it's incomplete. TJ Hamilton
pass was
could not work back to the football. And MD Alway holding up in coverage again.
We got a 3-man rush, so you had time, but this is the way this defense, that's what makes it so effective, is that we're going to rush 3, but we're going to have 8 in coverage. So it really doesn't leave you a lot of options sometimes in terms of who to throw to.
3rd and 9. Basilpizio trying to create some space. Checks it down. Triplett has a first down and more. And for good measure, lowering the shoulder, taking on a little contact. He can't help himself with the first down to the 40. Gain of 19.
Triplett saying, okay, you guys have whatever kind of day you're going to have. I'm going to have a good day.
Right back to the line. Basilpizio flips it into the flat for Ryder Kurtz. A forward momentum up to the 45.
Kind of the semblance of a screen in that you had Doran Smith out there blocking for a Ryder.
Inside 11 minutes to go. Lee motions across. On 2nd and 5, Cornell keeps it on the ground. Triplett that time ran into a brick wall.
One thing that we haven't seen much of today is Basilpizio keeping it on that read option. I don't know if he's got something going on health-wise or whatever, but there's a lot of times when he would take that ball and just go with it.
3rd and 4, triplet motions across. Basilpizio that time was ready to take off. But Cornell jumped early.
Of course.
Number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd and.
On the right tackle, Dylan Page.
Well, he must have heard me. Basilpizio was going to take off and run it for his first down. Now you're 3rd and 10 once again. Cornell has found themselves in this spot so much today, Nick. This is not where you want to be.
Cornell 5 for 11 on 3rd down today. Basilpizio steps up and lost the ball. Pressure in the backfield. He couldn't get away, and it's Justin Townsend forcing the ball loose. Columbia on top of it, and the Lions take over.
Just enough pressure. Force him out of the pocket.
Columbia by Justin Townsend.
Once he was out.
And there's a sack for Justin Townsend, closing in on the Columbia sack record, his 7th of the season, top 3 in the Ivy League. And when Columbia has needed a play, he's made it.
He sure made one there. Now here comes the Cornell defense back on the field again after just getting a good turnover, probably offsides. Yeah, Cornell's going to be offside, so they'll get to do this again, 1st and 5.
Incomplete. There's a penalty flag on the play. Offside. Defense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
So Cornell offside. Some housekeeping here. Townsend credited with a half a sack earlier on in this game. So Justin Townsend now with that strip sack, the all-time leader in sacks in Columbia history. Guy who missed some time last year due to injury. John Poppy said for him to come back and play at this level, it's been as good a season from a defensive lineman as he's been around. Back to Griffin Johnson, who's got a 1st down just shy of the 25-yard line, and Johnson just keeps on chugging, closing in on 200 yards for the day. Columbia already up over 2 Bills.
Along with Pete Williams.
Yeah, it's we've called this Cornell defense a bend but don't break defense in the past, and that's what they're going to have to be here. They're going to need to stiffen up and
first down at the 27. Johnson that time got turned away. Gain of a couple.
Ball carried by Griffin Johnson.
One of the few times that Cornell has won the battle against the Columbia rushing attack this afternoon, and approaching 8.5 to go. This feels like a critical sequence if Cornell wants to give themselves a chance.
I'm sure Columbia is going to be just as happy as could be to continue to run the ball and get first downs. Wouldn't surprise me that they'd throw a pass, but kinda.
Handoff to Johnson. Nothing doing, and it's
Griffin
3rd and
Johnson
8.
ran the football.
Cornell's defense tightening up, and now a critical
Made by
3rd down and 8.
Along with Tommy Ducker.
Tommy Ducker helping make the stop on the inside.
I'm certain we're in 2-down territory here, though. These guys aren't going to. They're not going to kick it. They're not going to punt it. They're going to go for it. Turns out to be a 4th down.
Columbia 7 for 12 on 3rd down today. Goodwin gets it out quickly. Has a man. It's Titus Evans. Tried to spin away from a tackle. Didn't get there. Stays in bounds after a gain of a couple, and now decision time on 4th and medium.
Chase Goodwin to Titus Evans.
4th and 4.
Damon Barnes get on the stop.
No real big decision here. For them, at least, they haven't done anything but this. Got almost everybody out to the right.
4th and 4, inside 7 to go. Evans and Cooper go in motion, and John Poppy will take a timeout.
Timeout. Columbia. Their first of the half. 30 seconds.
So 4th and 4 upcoming. Columbia wants to think it over. We'll take a timeout ahead of a huge 4th down. Cornell trying to stay alive.
Or not, but I guess they're satisfied that he did.
The freshman comes up with another huge grab, and Columbia picks up a critical first down, trying to put away their first Ivy win of the year.
Yeah, Columbia really doesn't need to score here. They don't have to do anything very desperate. So I just keep that clock running.
First down handoff to Johnson, picking his way all the way. Touchdown, Columbia. What a day for Griffin Johnson. And he caps it with a Lions touchdown.
I guess Johnson didn't hear me. You don't have to do anything very dramatic here. He has just had a day, and I mean, that is, when you're on it, you're on it. And he's just really had a day. It'll be a great bus ride back for him.
Lehman is the holder. Hugo Mary to attempt the conversion.
Hugo Mary on for the extra point, and Griffin Johnson pushing 200 yards on the afternoon. Mary adds the extra point.
The score Columbia 29, Cornell 12.
Been all Columbia this afternoon. Another high snap. Nice job by Goodwin handling it. And like he has all afternoon, Griffin Johnson doing the rest up front. And they certainly have done that and then some.
Well, and they focused on it. They focused on it both with their game plan, the plays they called. And then they've had great production out of both their backs. Whoever's in there is producing. And it's been a good day. Like I say, it's been a good day on the ground for these guys. And I'm sure they're probably looking at some of the success that Penn and Dartmouth has had on the ground in the last 2 weeks, and saying, well, there's a weakness there. And I mean, it's at this point of the game right now, there's, Cornell, if Cornell runs down and scores real quick, these guys get the ball back. They're just going to grind it out. And so this is a done deal here in terms of this game.
Passalpizio floating down the seam. Ryder Kurtz trying to get that left arm free to bring it in. But it falls to the turf.
It's incomplete.
Good coverage by A.J. George, working against one of the top tight ends in the Ivy League. Ryder Kurtz been a bit quiet today. Got the ball to him a couple of times in the flat, but coming off one of his best games of the season, 9 catches, 91 yards against Dartmouth.
Ryder's playing with a really tough knee right now. He just singled the other guy off.
Blitz coming. Passalpizio goes down. Pressure off the edge coming again. And it's Liam Donaher, the sophomore, getting home.
So Columbia is having their way right now. I don't know how healthy Passalpizio is. You kind of seen him coming off the field a little bit I mean, this time of the year, there's, of course everybody's banged up.
For Columbia, Jordan Kelly.
It's hard.
And what a job by this Columbia defense. Get some critical stops. Punt away from Caden Leshevitz will roll inside the 40-yard line. And this is, again, a Columbia team, Matt, that coming in
Tyler Gibson
has had a really difficult season. Coming off a championship, John Poppy said that, I thought we were aligned with where we wanted to go, coming off and trying to build on some of that momentum and what we were able to establish in year one. But sometimes it takes a little time to get things fully where you want them, especially with some of our young players. It was a senior-led group a year ago, and all of the things that went into what was such a successful season in New York City a year ago. And he said, we're playing for our seniors. We're trying to create some momentum into the offseason. You guys have worked so hard, and we just want to get one win for them before the season is done. And they have certainly played like they are hungry to get a good result. And there goes Griffin Johnson again. And he is tiptoeing around 200 yards on the day with another 7-yarder. 195.
Well, they're definitely going to be coming off this with some momentum. And, they're going to, if carrying that into the offseason is something that they're looking to do, that's probably what's going to happen. They're just going to keep running this clock right now.
Right back to Griffin Johnson. Keeps those feet moving. Second effort to pick up a first down. Another hard-earned first down for Columbia's running back. Griffin Johnson, the junior out of Marysville, Ohio, in Columbus. Played football, basketball, was the valedictorian. How about that combination in high school?
Well, your Ivy League is not a bad place to go from there.
What a day he has had. 198 yards, 237 on the ground for Columbia. And a statement made in the final game of the season against Cornell. Walters, foot in the ground. And another good gain on first. And Matt, obviously a disappointing result for Cornell this afternoon, hoping to send their seniors out with a win, and defense maybe not playing as well as they had hoped coming in. But it's hard to ignore, despite not getting the result that they wanted today, all the progress that Dan Swanstrom and his program have made throughout the year. That 4-game winning streak that really elevated where they were into what has been, in some parts, a successful season.
Well, and Swanstrom is a guy that says that we're about the process. We're not as interested in results as we are in the process. And so that will be his message today, I'm sure. And again, the seniors, the process doesn't really matter all that much anymore. But I think that that's what he'll be talking to his team about.
Yeah. Hit the 2-minute timeout. Dan Swanstrom saying,
unless Swanstrom wants to prolong the inevitable. I doubt that he will.
Clock continues to wind, and what an effort for Columbia to come into Ithaca and pick up their first Ivy win of the season. So many good moments for Cornell on this year, and some of the momentum that they have been able to create. Michael Walters falling forward.
Carried by Michael Walters.
Before we wrap up the season, certainly want to extend our thanks to everybody listening throughout the season, to John Lukash, Connor Lang doing a great job, our entire outstanding Cornell crew, braving the elements as the weather gets a little bit colder. So appreciative of what everybody does, and so much fun being a part of Cornell football this year. And obviously a disappointing finish for the Big Red. With jubilation on the other side for Columbia to pick up their first Ivy win of the year. They are one kneel down away.
Chase Goodwin takes a knee.
Yep, I think we're done. The game clock is smaller than the 30-second clock, so pretty pumped. We're going to maintain that trophy.
And that will do it. The Empire State Bowl trophy staying in New York City. Columbia makes it 5 in a row with their first Ivy win of the year to cap 2025. 29-12, the final in Ithaca this afternoon.
The final score of today's game is Columbia 29.
So Columbia gets
Thank you for attending
win number 1 in Ivy play, and they finish strong with a 3-score win against Cornell. Columbia to 2-8, snapping a 7-game losing streak, and the Big Red finish with back-to-back losses. So on to the offseason for Cornell, and one last gathering with that senior class that has meant so much to Zan Swanstrom and this program. Matt, always a ton of fun. Enjoyed it this year, and a lot of progress for the Big Red.
Yeah, this Columbia team, hats off to them. Just they came in here, and it would have been a great time to just sort of say, you know what, let's get on the bus and get back home. But boy, they didn't. And like you said earlier, this was give them a little bit of momentum going in the off season. Whatever that means. So it's a great outcome for them. I think Big Red would have looked for something else, but they've also had their high points. I think that they've got nothing to hang their head about. In fact, I think they're, like I said at the start of the game, I still believe they're on the upswing. So this team is going to continue to improve. Both of these teams, young head coaches, both of them pretty fired up, a lot of enthusiasm. So I think there's good things for both these programs.